The president is on Air Force One heading home after an early end to meetings with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Why Mr. Trump says it was time to walk.
And we're breaking down the governor's budget ahead of his official address at the state capitol tonight.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 Now this morning, 6 o'clock now on this Thursday, February 28th. And boy, oh boy, we just can't catch a break, it seems.
At least, go ahead.
The last day of February, at least.
And we're looking spring-like this morning. We're bright. We're trying.
We're trying.
We're really
Smiles
trying.
on our face.
We have to try, because otherwise, if you just like go outside and feel the cold, it's just gonna
I think this
suck it right out of you.
This is a mind over matter kind of moment for us. So over the next week, you just have to really focus on being happy, I think.
Be positive.
Being happy and warm, happy and warm, happy and warm.
Yes, when you look at the weather forecast, you may wonder, is spring really right around the corner? It's just 20 days away, but it certainly isn't going to feel like it. That's a nice sunrise.
Yeah,
the WISC-TV Skycam showing some clouds moving into the area, but we're also able to see some light on the horizon. Sun comes up around 6:36 this morning. Temperatures are climbing a little bit. That's good news as well. 4 here in Madison, 1 in the Dells, 5 in Mineral Point, and 5 in Platteville this morning. No wind chill to really factor in this morning, so I think that's the good news. Winds will stay light through the day. Temperatures will climb to highs right around 20. We're not going to see a lot of sunshine today, maybe just a few flurries this afternoon, but at least the winds will be light. Now here's a look at your traffic maps early today. The weather shouldn't give you any troubles getting to work or school today. The usual crowd is starting to show up on Stoughton Road right now, but no accidents or delays to report. Looks like you're still going at posted speeds as you head into Madison.
That is at least good news. You know, the silver lining is the roads at least look good.
Yes, that's
like
true.
This.
But we do have some snow in the forecast and possibly record-setting cold. I'll have all the details coming up.
I got nothing. I got nothing anymore, Hatch.
Just the messenger.
I know. I think we're all exhausted by this point, but thanks for the heads up.
All right, we'll do.
It is 6:02 right now. New this morning, the president is on his way back to the U.S. after the two-day summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un was called early overnight. After 2 days of negotiations, President Trump and Kim Jong-un were not able to reach a deal to denuclearize the Korean peninsula. At a post-summit press conference, the president said Kim wanted sanctions lifted entirely, which the U.S. is not prepared to do.
And I think actually it was a very productive 2 days, but sometimes you have to walk. And this was just one of those times.
The president called the two-day summit interesting and productive, noting that while the U.S. and North Korea have very different visions, those visions are much closer than they were a year ago. At this time, the two leaders have not agreed to another summit. Just before leaving Vietnam, the president reacted to his former lawyer's testimony before Congress. Mr. Trump says Michael Cohen lied about a lot of things, except when he said there was no collusion with Russia. Cohen said he didn't know whether Trump was working with Russia during the presidential campaign. During the hearing, he provided financial evidence showing President Trump reimbursed him for payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels. He also alleged the president knew about WikiLeaks releasing hacked Democratic emails ahead of time. That contradicts President Trump's written testimony to special counsel Robert Mueller.
Back in Wisconsin, Governor Tony Evers will officially release his first budget tonight. The governor's already announced a handful of initiatives that plan will cover, including a $150 million investment in the UW system. He also wants to continue a tuition freeze initially passed by Republicans years ago, and to charge students who were brought to the U.S. illegally as children in-state tuition. Now, GOP leaders do not support that idea or the governor's plans to restore funding to Planned Parenthood under a women's health initiative. Governor Evers also wants to make it so 17-year-olds here in Wisconsin are tried and charged as juveniles in Wisconsin's justice system. We're one of just 6 states right now that treats 17-year-olds as adults instead of starting that at 18 years old. The governor's plan would include funding to help counties move those teenagers into juvenile prisons. He also plans to push the deadline back to close the troubled Lincoln Hills Youth Prison, saying the state needs more time and about $200 million to build replacement facilities. We will stream the governor's budget address starting at 7 p.m. on channel3000.com and our News 3 Now Facebook page. Then political reporters Jessica Arp and Rose Schmidt will have analysis and reaction tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
The former head coach for the Packers is back in the spotlight, but it's not for a victory or a new replacement. A new job announcement, rather. A formal complaint has been submitted to the WIAA after an apparent incident involving Mike McCarthy. It happened at a high school basketball game Tuesday night between Pulaski and Notre Dame Academy. McCarthy's stepson plays for Notre Dame, the team that lost by just 1 point in that game. In the video, you can see McCarthy approach a referee after the game, quickly getting turned away. The WIAA tells WLUK-TV in Green Bay a complaint has been filed, but the extent of that complaint is confidential at this time.
Wisconsin football has some decisions to make ahead of its season opener against South Florida this August. Last year's starter, Alex Hornibrook, is entering the NCAA transfer portal, which means he will not be with the Badgers next year. Hornibrook started at quarterback for most of the last 3 seasons, but missed the last 5 games last year for concussion-related issues. He was also expected to face stiff competition from Jack Cohen, who played over Hornibrook in the Pinstripe Bowl, and newcomer Graham Mertz, a 4-star prospect out of Kansas. Now, Hornibrook will get his degree in business in May from the UW before he's eligible to play somewhere else next fall.
Later today, we could get some clarity on when the sexual assault trial for suspended Badgers football player Quintez Cephas will be ready to begin. Cephas has a scheduling conference later this morning in Dane County Court. It'll be his first court appearance since the start of his trial was delayed earlier this month. The State Journal reports that was because of late arriving evidence in the case. 2 women claim Cephas assaulted them on the same night while they were drunk last April. Cephas has pleaded not guilty to charges of 2nd and 3rd degree sexual assault, claiming the encounters were consensual.
6:06 on this Thursday morning, and from record-setting flooding last summer to record-breaking cold this winter, we have seen a lot of climate extremes across southern Wisconsin.
No one knows that better than FEMA. The federal agency has been busy helping Wisconsinites recover, and now they're looking for a different group of applicants to join their ranks. Our Christina Laurie is here this morning with more on that story. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning. FEMA is now taking applications for kids in our area to join its Youth Preparedness Council. That council operates on both the national and regional levels. Now, its purpose is to bring together young leaders who are interested in supporting disaster preparedness. Think working hard now to make sure our community knows how to respond if lake levels reach historic highs once again, or if wind chills fall to -50 like they did last month. The council takes into account the unique perspectives, feedback, opinions, and experiences of our youngest community members. They'll meet with FEMA staff to give their input on the agency's projects. Those projects are put in motion year-round, not just when disasters strike.
We have a lot of events that happen in our region, a lot of flooding, winter weather, things that, happen every year. So we want to be able to build that resilience in local communities, and getting the youth involved is one of the best ways to do that.
Students in 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th grades are all encouraged to apply. Applications are due by the end of March. I put a link to the application up on our website, channel3000.com, to make it easy. FEMA says they're specifically looking for students who've engaged in community service projects or are interested in learning more about science and emergency preparedness. They must also submit 2 letters of recommendation along with their application, so that might be something good to work on this weekend since it's going to be so crummy outside.
Well, and what a great example of all of the wacky weather we've been experiencing, and how, these kids have some experience in their back pocket to be a part of this.
Finally, living in Wisconsin has its trade-offs. This is what we've been primed for.
The summer's pretty good. The summer's usually.
All 2 weeks of it.
I know. Well, Christina, thank you. Really interesting.
It really is. All right, it is 6:08, just about 6:09 right now, and it is the last day of February, and even though spring is around the corner, we still have at least 3 more weeks of cold weather. That means scraping the windshield and shuffle stepping across those icy sidewalks. Try not to biff it. I've already done that a couple times. Dr. Mara is here this morning to offer some tips about beating the winter blues.
Yeah, and really though, it feels like this nonsense is never going to end. March is really coming in like a lion, rearing its head back and roaring with near record cold temperatures. That sunrise looking nice though this morning. Hattie has the details on our forecast next on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the patio. Another cold start this morning, but not as cold as the temperatures that are in the upcoming forecast. So I guess enjoy these relatively mild conditions. Let's take a look though outside. Beautiful picture from the Edgewater Skycam this morning with just a little bit of high level cloudiness moving into south central Wisconsin as we speak, but we still have no issues seeing the capital this morning. Nothing showing up on the radar map around here, but as I zoom the map out, you'll see that there is a little bit of light snow to the south and west across Iowa. Now, a few of those flurries may skirt southern Wisconsin as we go through the afternoon, but no accumulating snow is expected through the day today. We will see the clouds, though, from that system, so the clouds will continue to fill in here across southern Wisconsin as we go through the next couple of hours. It is 4 right now in Madison. We have light southwesterly wind, so the wind chill is 5 below. Wind should stay pretty light, though, through the day. Take a look at those temperatures across the region. Camp Douglas and Black River Falls, some typically low-lying spots, are pretty darn cold this morning. It's 17 below in Black River Falls. We're at least seeing more positive numbers here in southern Wisconsin, even if they are just in the single digits. Winds are calm in most locations again, so no wind chill to report early today. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. It does bring clouds into the area pretty quickly through the morning hours. I think we'll see at least a little bit of sunshine early on, but by the lunch hour, mostly cloudy skies with temperatures in the middle teens. We're headed to highs right around 20 degrees today with light winds continuing. Overnight tonight, pretty quiet, but cold once again. Temperatures will start out in the single digits again tomorrow. Watch for some snow to start spreading into the area, moving across the Mississippi River Valley as we head into the afternoon hours. It will likely impact the afternoon commute on Friday, and that light snow continues through the evening, but comes to an end overnight. Not a major snowstorm by any means, but another 1 to maybe 3 inches of accumulation expected. Looks like the highest amounts this time will be north and west of Madison. Our extended forecast then, after that storm system turns bitterly cold. Alert days are in the forecast for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday due to the cold conditions. We're talking wind chills in the mornings between 25 and 30 below. Daytime highs only in the single digits. That will be near record-setting cold for the start of March. Let's look at your traffic update now. The First Alert Traffic with Jason Stone. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No major incidents to report at this time as drivers are getting to the Beltline without delay and moving at the posted speed limit. All routes heading into Madison are clear for commuters, and no issues downtown as more vehicles are making their way up and down East Wash. With your First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason, thank you. And Hattie, thanks so much. So speaking of Hattie, she did the math for us, and we have had snow 32 of the last 43 days. 32 of the last 43. That's like 3 out of every 4 days, just piling it on.
Yeah, that snow plus the extreme cold temperatures have kept a lot of us cooped up inside. And we wanted to take some time to talk with Dr. Mara from SSM Health about how to beat those winter blues, and I think everyone's feeling it this year.
That's true. It probably meant a few snow days for the kids that are in school.
Yes.
So I'm sure they were happy about it to some degree. But yeah, so, you know, there's something called seasonal affective disorder, or the winter blues, or seasonal depression. And so basically what we're talking about here is right around the time that we change our clocks. You know, when that fall season's beginning, the days are starting to get shorter, it's less and less daylight. A lot of us may feel sort of that mood change, that, wow, you know, I don't have that same joy that I have every day in the spring or summer. But what we're talking about today is a little bit more than that. It's not just having the winter blues, as we call it. It's a little bit more. It's having that lethargy, the apathy, the really lack of drive with other depressive symptoms. When you start showing those signs, and about 5% of Americans will have that, really beginning in the fall, going into the winter, you have to have it for at least 2 consecutive years. What that means is you have seasonal affective disorder. There are treatments available for seasonal affective disorder, like any type of depressive disorder, and it includes things like medications, light therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. But of course, the first thing you want to do is really recognize, is this what's happening? So of course, talk to your doctor first. We talk about other things like exercise. We always talk about obesity. Seasonal affective disorder does, of course, contribute to things like obesity. So a lot of us joke that, you know, in the fall and the winter that we pack on those extra pounds. We call it our Christmas weight or maybe our winter weight. But unfortunately, that is part of this disorder or part of this disease process, that we do crave more carbohydrates. Now again, it's not just a day or here and there, it's we really are craving it, we're packing on the pounds, we're not having that same just joy for life. And so if you just feel sad once in a while, that's a normal response to life, right? The slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, we're going to feel those pings, but we're talking about really feeling severe symptoms here. So again, 5% of Americans, mostly women, 80% of the people that suffer from this will be women, 20% male, and 20s to 30s is really the main age here, which is somewhat surprising to many people. So if you are feeling any of those symptoms, talk to your healthcare provider, talk to your physician, say, am I possibly suffering from a form of depression? If you are, the reason that we use that light therapy is that can trigger the melatonin, the serotonin, all these different neurotransmitters in our brain that when we get less natural sunlight, all of a sudden we feel like sleeping more, eating more, and we're really just hibernating. But unfortunately, we're functional human beings. We all have to be, you know, a part of society. So if you really are feeling that, talk to your doctor, and then we can, of course, assess, see if that's the diagnosis, and then treat you accordingly.
That is so important.
I know.
So yeah, and there is a difference between, we want to make sure, just, you know, what we would call winter blues and this very, you know, serious medical condition.
Right.
So yeah.
And so a lot of people ask, well, Dr. Mayer, what if I just have the winter blues? What can I do? Like we talked about, the exercise, trying to increase daylight, meditation. So if you notice some of those initial symptoms, start preventing it. You know, definitely talk to your doctor, even just about that.
All right.
Just got to get active. All right. Thank you, Dr. Mayer. We appreciate it. And welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's great to see you. So trying to shift out of that drab winter mentality, we are hoping the Packers' new coach can bring some winning records in the future. But today the franchise is honoring a guy who's preserved the team's past. We will tell you how they're doing that up next.
And if you were hoping to soak in some vitamin D today and get out of this winter funk, that's probably not going to happen, though the sunrise is beautiful this morning, actually at 6:36. Getting earlier, so there's some good news, but those clouds will probably be covering it up most of the day. Hattie will have an update on her forecast on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. Take a look at this shot from the Platteville camera, the Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Beautiful sunrise underway in Platteville. Unfortunately, the clouds are going to win the battle today. We're not going to see much sun through the afternoon. Take a look at our current conditions. We are much colder than we were this time yesterday. It's about 10 degrees colder this morning in Platteville than it was pretty much the same here in Madison. Here are the actual numbers. Single digits above zero in most spots for our viewing area. Temperatures do drop below zero, though, to the north. Here's a look at your wind chills through the day. Wind chills will be in the single digits above zero this morning, into the teens this afternoon, so not quite as chilly as it has been. Your bus stop weather forecast, again, mostly cloudy skies today with highs right around 20 degrees. Not bad, but still a little colder than it should be this time of the year.
Cold, all cold. Thank you, Hattie. All right, after dedicating decades of his life to reporting on the green and gold, the Packers are giving their official team historian a really cool shout out. Cliff Crystal will receive the Bart and Sherry Star Recognition Award at the Packers Hall of Fame induction banquet in May. Now, that award recognizes someone with outstanding character and leadership qualities and commitment to the team. Crystal's now been the Pack's official historian for 5 years, but he spent 36 years covering the team as a sports writer at 4 different newspapers. He also spearheaded the creation of the Packers Heritage Trail, including 25 historical sites and the downtown Green Bay Plaza. Pretty cool.
Year after year, Madison ranks on a variety of lists, such as a great place to raise your kids, a city with wonderful bike paths, or the general, a great place to live. But some residents would argue against that. Dr. Richard Harris was born and raised in Madison. He's seen a lot in his 80-plus years. Some he wishes he never had. But those experiences made him into the man, the father, grandfather, and community activist he is today. And he's documented all of it in his book called Growing Up Black in South Madison.
I care because half of South Madison is related to me. And, you know, they always ask me, do you want to leave a legacy? That's the book. So I said, read the book and you'll see what, what the situation is and, what you're facing.
Find out how Dr. Harris is using his book and his voice to help change Madison for the better. Charlotte DeLeste shares this special Do Something Good story tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
6:25 right now, and the city of Fitchburg is mapping out plans to deal with economic disparities and education gaps in that city. We'll take a closer look at those plans after the break.
And there's a lot of questions surrounding a proposal to increase class sizes in the Iowa Grant School District. We'll have the day's top stories on News 3 Now this morning.
Madison school buses will continue picking kids up from one Fitchburg neighborhood after another failed attempt to switch districts.
And FEMA is looking to current high school students to help prepare cities like Madison for the next natural disaster. How your kid can get involved.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, and thanks for staying with us on this Thursday, February 28th. A live look at the sunrise in Platteville this morning. Can we just
can't get enough. It feels warm, right?
Seriously, come on. Come here.
Pretending it's a fireplace.
I need
pretending it's a fireplace, and we really wish that it was, and that we could just harness that heat over the next few days, because Hattie is calling for a cold day today and even colder to come. She's outside with her furry hat still. Hi, Hads.
I know, I love this hat, but I am so tired of wearing it, if you want to be really honest. I am ready for some warmer temperatures, but unfortunately, that's not really in the forecast. Take a look outside, though. This is the view from Platteville. Beautiful sunrise underway this morning. Nice to see the colors and the sun early. Sun comes up at 6:36. Now, we're not going to see a lot of sunshine through the day today. Take a look at what's happening weather-wise. If we could switch to our weather graphics. There we go. You'll see just a little bit of cloud cover moving through south central Wisconsin right now, but more cloud cover off to the west. So unfortunately, we're going to lose our sun this morning. Temperatures are in the single digits right now, for the most part above zero here in southern Wisconsin. Our temperatures will climb to highs right around 20 degrees this afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies are expected. Now, here's a look at that traffic report early today. You will notice that there are a few brake lights showing up on the Beltline and right around the Stoughton Road area, but no major delays to talk about right now, no accidents either. So if you are headed into Madison before 7 o'clock, doesn't look like anything's going to slow you down right now. And that's your first alert traffic.
If we could just take that sunrise and just stay with it the entire morning, I think I would be a happy camper.
I know, it does help, doesn't it?
It does.
Because I don't have very good news in the forecast today.
Oh, all right, Hattie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Wisconsin has been no stranger to wild weather over the past year, not to mention the past month, and now FEMA is hoping to get kids involved when it comes to making sure we're all prepared for the next natural disaster.
The federal agency is now taking applications for its Youth Preparedness Council. Christina Laurie joins us to explain the specific assets your kids can bring to that group. And this is really cool for the kiddos.
It definitely is, and from record-breaking flooding last summer to record-setting cold this winter, we've certainly been through several extremes here in Madison this past year. No one knows that better than FEMA and area students who had their classes canceled as a result. Now the federal agency is asking those kids for help. It's taking applications for its Youth Preparedness Council, which operates at both the national and regional levels. Its purpose is to bring together young leaders from around the Midwest and across the country to meet with FEMA staff to give their input on the agency's projects, like putting disaster relief plans in place now. FEMA says this next generation brings unique perspectives, feedback, opinions, and experiences.
Youth bring a lot of really unique characteristics to the council. They have an energy, that's very unique. They can think about challenges in new ways and help us innovate in terms of emergency management. So the council is a two-way street.
The Youth Preparedness Council is open to students in 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th grades. You can apply now until the end of March. I put a link to the application on our website, channel3000.com. And FEMA says they're specifically looking for students who've engaged in community service or are interested in science and emergency preparedness. If you're picked, the kids will serve on the council for a 2-year term working on projects both here in the Madison area while attending national workshops too. So it's definitely a great way to network early, get those experiences in high school. I know if I could have, gotten
it's hands-on.
Yeah.
That's the really cool part about it. You see the science applied.
And early on, I think that's a good way to keep the kids busy as well.
And it shows that all of this crappy weather that we've dealt with all year long is paying off.
There you go. All right, Christina, thanks for your reporting.
You're welcome.
6:33 right now, and families in one Fitchburg neighborhood are considering another petition after their request to change school districts was denied again. This group of parents in the Swan Creek neighborhood want their kids to go to Oregon schools instead of Madison. part of their reasoning is a new school that's going up just 2 miles away in the Oregon School District. Earlier this week, though, the boards for both Madison and Oregon voted down that request, citing a land agreement made between the two districts 17 years ago. At that time, the agreement didn't affect any students. We have that full document posted on channel3000.com. This is the third time parents in Swan Creek have tried to change the district. If petitioners want to appeal, they would need another round of signatures by mid-March. Meanwhile, we're learning more about the city of Fitchburg's plans to address disparities in income, education, and crime. The State Journal's reporting this morning that at a meeting last night, community development planners said improvements could include mixed-use housing, new after-school or early childhood programs, job training opportunities, and social gathering places. That would start with a pilot program in neighborhoods around Fish Hatchery Road just south of the Beltline, and then the focus would shift to neighborhoods bordering each side of Verona Road. Leaders of that so-called Healthy Neighborhoods Initiative hope City Council will approve plans in the next month or two. It is 6:34. Village staff and engineers are inviting DeForest residents to learn more about development projects coming in 2019. Those include a 25-acre athletic complex being built on the southwest side of town in the Conservancy Place neighborhood. Construction is happening now on 4 softball diamonds, 2 multi-use fields, and a large shelter and concession stand. That work should be all finished this year. You can get an update on the project, including possible additions, at the open house meeting tonight. Village leaders will also talk about plans for street reconstruction, the Fireman's Park parking lot, and a new public service storage building to keep up with the growing populations, streets, water, sewer, and storm needs. That meeting is at 5:30 tonight at the Village Hall.
So that's 3-3 vote. With a vote of yes, the motion passes.
And after what you just saw there, passing a motion to increase class sizes without a majority. The measure itself also contributed to the confusion. That caps kindergarten classes at 16 students. 1st through 3rd grade classes would have no more than 17 students. And then 4th through 8th grade classes would have a max of 18 students plus the grade level. Now, the district's legal counsel says another meeting will have to be held to clarify that measure and take another vote. 6:36 this morning, the Wisconsin high school cheerleading coaches that made national attention for giving awards about athletes' bodies are now facing consequences. We'll have that in the morning sprint. And I was fortunate enough to witness this live, and now we get to meet the man behind the breakdancing moves that went viral after a Bucks game performance this weekend. That's when News 3 Now this morning continues.
And as we come back on this Thursday morning, a beautiful shot of the sunrise taking place just a couple of minutes ago. That's the city's west side. We could just take that sunrise in, heat us up a little bit.
It
Sounds
looks
good
so
to me.
nice. I'm just kind of like entranced by it at the moment.
Seriously, that's beautiful. All right, time for hashtag My Morning, and Pat Sparling posted this on Facebook. She calls it the Angry Orchard in rural Orfordville. And I think a lot of us are angry, just like the apples.
Yeah, most definitely. But what an amazing
That is
picture
beautiful.
right there. I've actually read about phantom apples, when those apples inside crumble up and like disappear, shrivel up, and you're left with these like glass-looking ice apples. It's wild. So look that up too.
That's awesome.
But Pat, this is a beautiful shot. Thank you for sharing. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, send it over to us using that hashtag MyNews3Morning, and we share our favorites every morning here on the show. All right, you may have already been lucky enough to see this on your Facebook or Instagram feed, but it is worth showing again. This breakdance performance at the Bucks game over the weekend was totally unexpected. Thuy Tran was approached before the game to compete in a dance-off. Little did any of the Bucks staff know he has 14 years of training and experience. So this is what happened. Our news partners in Milwaukee sat down with the man behind the moves.
And then all of a sudden another guy's like, hey, you're on the Bleacher Report right now. And then all of a sudden over here, somebody's like, hey, you're on House of Highlights right now. Another guy's like, you're on 15 Seconds of Fame, and you know, you're on Barstool Sports right now. And it all happened so quickly.
Really cool. Most people know Tran as his breakdancer name, under the breakdancer name Crumbles. He ended up winning a free year of Palermo's Pizza after blowing the other dance-off contestants out of the water.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I was there for this, and it was actually hilarious because the other two contestants weren't terrible, but then he just absolutely knocks it out of the park. Everybody's just jaw to the floor.
I would imagine. I was jaw to the floor just watching that video.
Oh, yeah. To be there was very, very cool. So congrats to him.
That's awesome.
The free pizza and a lot of publicity for him.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, well, it is 6:41. So meteorological spring starts tomorrow, but you could have fooled us.
Yeah.
Hattie's got sunshine, but she's still talking about temperatures below zero in her first lower forecast.
First, though, it is February 28th, and we want to say happy birthday to Heather, Isabella, and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning. All right, we are pretty pumped that today is the last day of February. This has been quite the winter to try to stay positive and smiley and sunshiny. Come on.
Hattie is trying to help us out with some of that weather person humor this morning.
Yeah, we'll do what we can, because remember, I'm just the messenger. Wanted to show you this picture that a viewer sent us. It's a photo from a Wisconsin State Journal guest column back in 1994. How to know when it's cold enough for you. So for example, at 50 degrees, Miami residents turn on the heat.
Nice.
40 degrees, Californians shiver uncontrollably, but Wisconsinites go swimming. But let's be real, those temperatures aren't very realistic anytime too soon. So let's go to the bottom of the list and look at that -5, where you can cut your breath and use it to build an igloo. Wisconsinites stick their tongues on metal objects, and Miami residents cease to exist. It's all relative, but I think maybe some of those Wisconsinites wishing they were in Miami.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dealing with some of those temperatures, because it is going to be kind of a record cold start to March. Wanted to show you, though, some good news. We'll start on a positive note right now. Take a look at this colorful sunrise in Baraboo sent in by Chris this morning. Beautiful shot. Thanks for sending that one in. Love those colors that you captured this morning. Here's another one sent in by David. Just another gorgeous sunrise. Enjoy that sun early, because it's not going to stick around. Those pictures, though, may have you thinking of spring. The countdown is on. 20 days, less than 3 weeks, the official start of spring. But you may have to double check the calendar, because the forecast coming up certainly does not look anything like spring. Our normal highs this time of the year are in the mid-30s. By next weekend, we're talking normal highs right around 40 degrees. But watch what happens this weekend. When the bottom drops out, we have high temperatures only in the single digits. We're talking a potential record cold start to the month of March. Now, as a result, alert days are in the forecast. Morning wind chills Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, ranging from 25 to 30 degrees below zero. Near record cold temperatures possible as well. We may set some of those new records coming up later for the start of the week. Wind chills by the time we get to Sunday afternoon, still double digits below zero for most locations across southern Wisconsin. Starting the work week off on Monday, this is what it will feel like. Wind chills around 30 below, maybe as low as 40 below in the northern part of the state. And then as we go through the day on Monday, we're looking at wind chills staying in the double digits below zero. Not much better Tuesday morning. We're back close to 30 below as we start our day on Tuesday. So things will start to improve as we get towards the latter part of next week, but we have a few very cold days to get through. Nothing showing up on the radar map early this morning, although there are some flurries to our south and west. As the system works its way eastward, we may see just a few flurries here across southern Wisconsin. We'll definitely see the clouds from that particular system. One band of clouds moving through, making for a beautiful sunrise this morning, but these clouds off to the south and west will move into southern Wisconsin through the morning. Temperatures in the Northwoods are below zero. They have about 2 feet of snow on the ground, so double digits below zero up to the north. We're in the single digits above zero here in southern Wisconsin. 4 is our temperature in Madison. Watertown is at 5, as is Mineral Point. Janesville starts the day at 9. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. Generally a pretty quiet day today. Temperatures will climb back into the teens by lunchtime. We're not looking at for anything more than a few flurries, though, through the day today. Just cloudy skies with highs right around 20 degrees. Staying pretty quiet then for tonight. Temperatures, though, will start again pretty cold tomorrow morning in the single digits. But through the day tomorrow, especially towards the afternoon, watch for some snow to start to spread into the area. That snow will impact the afternoon and evening commutes on Friday, but will come to an end overnight. We're looking at a pretty light snowfall for southern Wisconsin, 1 to 3 inches for most areas. Highest amounts will be north and east of Madison. Here's our extended forecast. Bitter cold after that. You're going to need all the layers, so don't get rid of any of that winter gear just yet. We do get back into the 20s and even 30s by the next weekend.
No.
Wanda and Remy have the right idea.
Yes, they do.
That's the best heating pad ever. I'm all snuggled up.
Oh, I'm jealous. All right, thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
The Morning Sprint is up next.
6:52, time for the morning sprint. Hattie says our last day of February will be a cold one, but not as cold as the start of March. She is talking about flurries as well today.
And Christina Laurie tells us how FEMA is preparing kids for disasters, but we start with the president's early end to meetings with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
I think actually it was a very productive 2 days, but sometimes you have to walk. And this was just one of those times.
The president is on a plane back to the United States early after he and Kim Jong-un were not able to reach a deal to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula. At a post-summit press conference, the president said Kim wanted sanctions lifted entirely, which the U.S. is not prepared to do.
The president's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, will be back in front of lawmakers in a closed-door meeting today. In his 6-hour public testimony yesterday, Cohen said President Trump did break federal campaign finance laws while in office by paying $130,000 in hush money to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. The president told reporters this morning that Cohen lied a lot in yesterday's hearing.
Governor Tony Evers will release his full budget tonight, including a handful of initiatives that spending plan will cover, including continuing the UW system tuition freeze, restoring funding to Planned Parenthood, and changing the minimum age for charging juveniles as adults from 17 to 18. We will stream the governor's address on channel3000.com at 7 p.m. and have complete team coverage on News 3 Now at 10.
And we have a little bit of sunshine early today, but cold conditions. Our temperatures are starting in the single digits above zero this morning. Luckily, winds will stay light through the day. We're looking at high temperatures climbing to around 20 degrees this afternoon with a light southwest wind.
Hattie, thank you. 3 people in Sun Prairie are out of their home this morning after multiple departments spent 3.5 hours putting out a fire. It happened around 1 a.m. in the 500 block of Stark Road on the town's south side. Firefighters found heavy flames both inside and outside the home and on the roof. The damage is estimated at $150,000. All three people were able to get out safely, and the Red Cross is helping out.
FEMA is looking to the next generation of leaders for help preparing cities like Madison for its next natural disaster. The federal agency is now taking applications for its Youth Preparedness Council. That council brings together young leaders who are interested in making sure our community knows how to respond when and if disaster strikes. Kids in 8th through 11th grades can apply for a 2-year term. They'll spend 24 months meeting with FEMA staff, giving input on the agency's projects, and taking on a local project in their own community. I put a link on the application on our website, channel3000.com.
Christina, thank you. Families in Fitchburg's Swan Creek neighborhood are considering another petition after their request to change from Madison's school district to Oregon's was denied for a 3rd time. Those parents want to switch because a new school is going up just 2 miles away in the Oregon School District. Earlier this week, the boards for both Madison and Oregon voted down the request, citing a land agreement made between the 2 districts 17 years ago.
Legal counsel says the Iowa Grant School Board will have to vote again after passing a motion to increase class sizes without having a majority vote. Now the measure itself also contributed to confusion. The board voted to have a maximum of 16 students per kindergarten class, 17 students max for 1st through 3rd grades, and for 4th through 8th grade a max of 18 students plus the grade level.
The WIAA is considering a formal complaint involving former Packers head coach Mike McCarthy. This video has a lot of you talking this morning. It happened at a high school basketball game Tuesday. McCarthy's stepson was playing for Notre Dame Academy when the team lost by just 1 point. In the video, you can see McCarthy approach a referee after the game, quickly getting turned away. The extent of this complaint is confidential at this time.
Coaches of the Tremper High School cheerleading squad in Kenosha are not allowed to accompany their team at the state competition this weekend. This comes after the coaches gave out awards at an annual banquet referencing the girls' bodies. Last week, the ACLU demanded action from the school, and district officials followed repeated complaints from parents and a former coach.
All right, it is almost 6:57. Let's get one more check on traffic this morning with Jason Stone. Hi, Jason.
Hello. Brake lights are popping up near Stoughton Road. Otherwise, drivers are near the posted speed limit on the Beltline. And there are no issues on John Nolan. The only slowing down is at North Shore Drive. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we've had a beautiful sunrise early this morning. The weather shouldn't pose any problems on the roads early today. Clouds are already moving into the Madison area, though. We'll look for mostly cloudy skies today. Temperatures starting in the single digits, climbing to highs right around 20 this afternoon. Let's show you that extended outlook because there's a lot to talk about. 1 to 3 inches of snow coming later on Friday, and then bitter cold conditions as we go through that first week in March. Alert days are in the forecast Sunday through Tuesday.
Somebody needs to bring the heat here. Come on.
Somebody out there, please.
Thanks for joining us. Make it a great day, everyone.